So let's talk about something big. How do great companies, or even great careers, actually happen? We all love the story of that one big aha moment, right? That single breakthrough that changes everything. But what if I told you that's mostly a myth? The real story is way more interesting and way more in our control. Let's dig in. This quote right here, this is the whole game. It's the core idea that pushes back against everything we see in movies and read in headlines. Forget the overnight success story. The truth is, greatness doesn't just show up, it's built. And how it's built is what we're talking about today.
All right, so before we can really get what does work, we have to clear the air and talk about what doesn't. We've got to bust some of these popular myths about what creates greatness, because a lot of us are chasing the wrong things.
And look at this list. It's like a highlight reel of every business news story, doesn't it? The dramatic takeover, the celebrity CEO who's going to save the day, that one killer marketing campaign. But here's the kicker. When researchers actually went inside the truly great companies and asked them, what was the one thing that made you great? They couldn't answer, because it was never just one thing. It was never a magic bullet.
So if it's not one big moment, what is it? Well, it's a process, a cumulative one. Think of it like compounding interest, but for your efforts. And that process can go one of two ways. You can either build this incredible, unstoppable momentum, or you can get caught in a cycle of chaos and failure. Two paths. That's it. Let's start with the good one, huh? Path number one. This is the path to greatness. And it's all built around this beautiful, powerful metaphor called the flywheel. This is how you create momentum that lasts. Okay, so what in the world is the flywheel effect? I want you to picture a giant, heavy metal disc, a flywheel, mounted on an axle. And your job is to get this thing spinning. You can't just run up and give it one massive shove. It's too heavy. No, the only way to do it is with small, consistent pushes, over and over, all in the same direction. And this is it's a perfect illustration of how it feels. Those first 100 pushes, they feel like an absolute waste of time. You're sweating, you're putting in all this effort, and the wheel barely budges. You start to doubt everything, but you keep going. Around push 1,000, you finally get one full rotation. You can feel it, a little bit of momentum. Then you hit 10,000 pushes, and suddenly the wheel's own weight is working for you. It's spinning so fast, it almost seems effortless. And that's when someone walks by, points, and goes, wow, an overnight success. They have no clue about the first 9,999 pushes. So if you remember one thing, let it be this. Greatness isn't about that one heroic, intense push. It's not about burning yourself out for a week. It's built on relentless, and yeah, sometimes boring, consistency. Each push adds to the one before it, compounding and compounding, until that thing is just unstoppable. But there's a flip side. For every team that's patiently building a flywheel, there are probably 10 more who are trapped in its evil twin. And that's the second path we need to talk about, the destructive, soul-crushing doom loop. The doom loop is what happens when you have zero consistency. Instead of pushing that big wheel in one direction, the organization pushes it a little bit, then gets disappointed, and then runs to the other side and pushes it back the other way. It's this cycle of pure reactivity that absolutely guarantees you never, ever build an ounce of momentum. And I bet this cycle looks painfully familiar to some of you. It all starts with some bad news, some kind of pressure. Leadership panics. They react. They launch some brand new, shiny program, a transformation. But because it's just a reaction, it doesn't build any real traction. The results are, of course, disappointing. So what do? They scrap it and pivot to the next shiny idea. And this just keeps repeating. And with every single cycle, the trust and energy of the team just gets ground into dust. I mean, when you put them side by side like this, it's night and day, isn't it? The flywheel is driven by quiet, consistent focus that leads to real results. The doom loop, it's all about panicked reactions, whiplash from changing priorities, and a whole lot of leadership drama. So that's the big question, right? What decides which path an organization takes? Is it your industry? Is it your funding? Is it your tech? Nope. The research points to one single critical factor, the behavior of its leaders. This is the ultimate test. And this is exactly why it's so hard. Because in the beginning, when you're making those first 100 pushes on the flywheel, it feels awful. It honestly feels like you're failing. Progress is painfully slow. The results aren't showing up yet.
And everyone, your team, your investors, even the voice inside your own head is starting to whisper, is this really working? This is the moment of truth.
And it all boils down to this. This is the whole thing. A reactive leader cracks under that pressure. They can't stand the ambiguity, so they abandon the push, and they kickstart a doom loop. But a steady leader, they get it. They understand the physics of the flywheel, they absorb that pressure, they stay calm, and they just say, keep pushing. They trust the process.
Okay, so this is way more than just a cool theory, right? The real question is, what do you do with it? How can we make this stuff actionable? How can you start building a flywheel in your team, in your company, or heck, even in your own life starting right now?
You know, this has never been more important than it is today. We live in the AI era where there's a new game-changing tool every single week. The temptation to jump from trend to trend, to constantly pivot, it's massive. And it's the perfect recipe for a doom loop. AI can be a massive accelerator for your flywheel, sure, but it can also accelerate a doom loop. Your focus is your superpower.
So here's a super simple checklist to get you started. First, have a clear strategy. You need that one direction to push. The research calls this your hedgehog concept, the thing you can be the absolute best in the world at. 2, you need a disciplined rhythm, a cadence to your work, weekly, monthly, quarterly. 3, visible scoreboards. Everyone on the team needs to know at a glance if you're winning or losing. And finally, number 4, consistent leadership, because everyone is watching you. Your emotional steadiness is what gives the whole organization stability. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. I want you to take a really honest look at your team or your company. Do you feel it? That quiet, compounding momentum of focused, consistent effort? Or do you feel that exhausting whiplash of constant change and new initiatives? Are you pushing a flywheel? Or are you trapped in a doom loop?